out. Number one thing is this. Show up big. Show up big. We live in a world where low energy is very accepted. We live in a world where you can just kind of quietly tiptoe through your day. And don't bother anybody and nobody will bother you. But you want to show up big. I'm not saying show up loud. I'm not saying that. And I'll give you here's another speaker's tip. When we were starting and I did the good morning, it wasn't the volume of my voice, it was the length of the word. I could have said, good morning. When we speak too quickly at the beginning, people don't have an opportunity to shift their state. So if you're in a situation where you need to get the attention of an audience, just hold the note longer, just hold the word longer. And if you can pull a little bass into it, that's great, but if you can't, that's all right too. So I'm not talking about showing up big in that way. When I talk about showing up big, there are three ways that we show up big. One is we show up big physically. We show up big physically. What does it mean to show up big physically? It means that you are 5 minutes early. And that 5 minutes early for you is on time. It means that on time is 5 minutes late. And it means that anything after that is unacceptable. One of the reasons we get stuck sometimes selling is because we don't realize that we are not physically showing up. I've done outside cold call sales. And they tell you if you go through 10 doors, one person's going to say yes. You go through 10 doors, one person's going to say yes. My first month with that company, or half month, I started in the middle of the month, I actually started overthinking. So let me find that great territory, that place that nobody's gone to offer this product before, and let me just go in through 10 doors and I'm going to get my one yes. I overthought it. What I didn't realize is that I was strategically not showing up. So ask yourself this. How are you showing up? How many people, how many customers, how many potential referral sources are you showing up in front of daily? Because believe me, we can overthink this thing. We can get very strategic in our heads and we can go, well, I'm going to do this. And then you know what? Oh, I see this. I'm going to give them a free pill box with our name on it. So let me order the pill boxes. Then I'm going to go, once the pill boxes come in, then I'm going to go out and start making some calls. And I'm going to go see people with these pill boxes because when they need this, with these pill boxes, because everybody needs a pill box. And that's going to be the thing. And what we're doing is we are strategically not showing up. Here's the question that I want you to ask yourself, and it's only for you. It's only for you. How many times am I showing up in front of a client, customer, potential referral source, whomever, a day? Am I spending too much time preparing to show up and just not showing up? Because if you want to increase your output, if you want to increase your productivity, you can start by just showing up big in terms of physically being in front of someone. And don't worry about how you're looking. Don't worry about that. You need to be in front of them. Don't worry about the fact that we don't have, our colors are blue and yellow, blue and gold, but we only have green pens. Jen, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like, when we get the blue and gold ones, then we'll go. Don't worry about that. You have to show up big, and it starts by showing up physically being there. So what I want you to do right now with that one little tip is I want you to write down the number of times, and you can estimate it, the number of times you show up in front of a client each day. Right now, just write that number down. The number of times you show up in front of a client each day. If appointments are a part of what you do, how many appointments do you have a day? If it's a phone call that initiates the business, how many calls are you making a day? How are you showing up physically? All right? Now what I want you to do is to take that number and I want you to double it. Double that. All right? And hold on to that for a moment. The other way that we show up is mentally. How are we showing up mentally? Showing up physically is a matter of habit. You start where you are, and if you're that person who just shows up right on time, or you show up just 5 minutes late, or whatever it is, and again, I don't profess to be a wonder with all of this, as the board will tell you with my tardiness sometimes at the board meetings. But if that's where you are, then you start there, and you identify ways to make a habit of showing up early. The issue with showing up physically is that it's the way that we negotiate the clock. It's the way that we negotiate time. It's the way that we assess time. Sometimes we think that a 1-hour drive is only 20 minutes away. Anybody here can relate to that? Yeah. That's a habit of thought, and you want to examine that and make that change. Showing up mentally is something different. Showing up mentally requires preparation. When I say showing up mentally, have you ever been in a situation where you show up and this is a stick figure. Your head is here and your body's someplace else. So your body's here and your head's someplace else. You're making that list of your next appointment and what you have to do next. Or you're sitting there going, this meeting is just such a waste of my time. Physically you're there, mentally you're not. Showing up big means that you're there physically, it means that you're there mentally. And mentally being prepared means simply that when you show up, you know what your contribution is going to be. You've taken the time to look at the agenda and to know what your contribution is. And then the last way that we show up and this is the most important. When you show up physically and you show up mentally, you can then show up authentically. Let me tell you why we sometimes don't get the business. It's because we have not shown up authentically. When I say showing up authentically, what I'm telling you is that there's no mask. There's no agenda. You go into that thing, be it with a client, a customer, or whomever, and you are real. When you carry the mask, when you carry the agenda, it actually becomes a barrier. Because if you have on your mask, they have on their mask. And you're trying to protect your interests, and your interest might be getting a new client, and they're trying to protect their interests, whatever it might be, their time, whatever it is. When you show up authentically, you show up real. Let me ask you something. Do you think that I've shown up here today with a mask on or authentically? Authentically. I love having an opportunity to converse with you. I love that because I know what it's like to be in that position where you're dependent upon to produce specific results. I know what it's like to do it and do it well. I know what it's like not to do it. So I'm coming from a place inside of me. When you show up authentically, basically what's happening is that the goodness inside of you is connecting with the goodness inside of another person. Does business get done at a faster, more rapid rate when that happens? You better believe it. If you're making calls, if you're showing up with your clients in there and it's not moving forward, you have not made the connection. You've not shown up big. So showing up big is 1, showing up physically, 2, showing up mentally, and 3, showing up authentically. Is this something that's of value to you, yes or yes? Yes. Are there some insights here? Think back on your last week. Think back on your last month and ask yourself, how am I showing up? How am I showing up? When you can make an authentic connection with another human being, even if the business doesn't get done that day, there's a conversation that's happening. You're now on the same side of the table with them. I know some of you here who do that extremely well. We have great just conversations. You know, we're looking for, sometimes we come out to network and we're looking for business cards and we're looking for connections and we're looking for new business and we're looking for clients. Stop. Let me tell you what your business card is. It's just your name and number, and it's not impressing anyone. And I know you probably spend, or somebody probably spent a lot of time getting a certain look that's gonna open every door. It's not impressing anyone, not in a networking setting, because you got 50 of them in your pocket. Huh? What drawer do you guys keep your business cards in? Put a little rubber band around them sometimes and just kind of tuck them away. I got a stack of them. What you're looking for here, what you're looking for are authentic relationships. When Mike and I talk, it's real. It might be about business. It might be about the Orioles. It might be about anything. But if I need something that Mike has, a service that Mike provides, or someone I know needs it, I know Mike. I know Mike. I know him. So use these settings to show up authentically and to build a relationship. Ophelia is a hugger. I love that. I love that. She's my bestie. I'm telling you. You know, we do different things together from time to time. Vantage House will do things with the Department of Aging and Homeland Security. What's the new name? I can't, it's long. What's the name? The new name. Okay, and as we work together more, I'll get that. But You know, it's a different kind of thing. I know I can call her if we have something that's related to it, to that. How many people here have those types of authentic relationships with others in the room? We don't chase the business. It's about the relationship. It's about the relationship. So that's showing up big. And I'm looking at my watch, and I want to be mindful of the time. I ask you guys for your permission. And part of what I'm asking for is permission not to go through everything and try to cram it in such a short period of time. Is there value in what we've talked about so far? Yes. Is that something that you can take back and reflect upon and begin to work into your daily routine and make a difference? Yes or yes? Yes. Yes. Good.